This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we preview the 2025 Renault Grand Koleos SUV. Now bigger and better, but there is plenty of technology. Question is, will this be your next SUV? Finally, we review Haval's mid-size crossover, the Jolion. We check out its styling, performance, practicality, and evaluate its value for money proposition against its rivals, the Hyundai Tucson and the Toyota Corolla Cross. Catch this and much more on your Cars with Big Boy Trev this Sunday at 5 p.m. only on NTV. Welcome to Cars with Big Boy Trev Extra. My name is Big Boy Trev. It's all about the news and reviews from across the world. Now, Renault have just unveiled its new Grand Koleos under the tagline, born in France, made in Korea. But this new crossover is actually a light restyled Chinese Geely Monjaro / Jingwei L. Now, the Grand Koleos will be built at Renault Korea Motors Busan factory, which currently builds the Arcana and the Koleos. Now, visually, the Grand Koleos has a unique frameless grille and different wheels. It is visually unchanged from the Geely it is based on. Now, step inside the cabin and the Grand Koleos comes with three 12.3-inch screens, a digital instrument cluster, an infotainment touchscreen, and of course, an available passenger display. Available features include semi-autonomous parking, a Bose sound system, and augmented reality heads-up display. In terms of performance, it comes in two states of tune: a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with up to 155 kilowatts of power. Now, this is mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, and it's in front-wheel drive, guys, and of course an 8-speed automatic with the all-wheel drive option. The second option available is a turbocharged 1.5-liter hybrid powertrain that features 100 kilowatts and 60 kilowatts electric motors and a 1.64 kilowatt-hour battery for a total system output of 180 kilowatts. Now, local Renault dealer may offer this particular version next year due to the fact that the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid and the Haval H6 Hybrid are currently on sale in Kenya. Keep it CBBT for more details. Welcome to Cars with Big Boy Trev social media feedback segment, where we give you the opportunity to speak of what you've seen on the show and how we can improve CBBT. We go straight to Facebook to our top fan, Mr. Peter Marita, and he says, I noted the Toyota Hiace can accommodate around 12 passengers, whereas the Nissan Caravan can accommodate about 10. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for watching. We are talking about the review of the Volkswagen Transporter that we did, and of course, the chief rivals for that particular model was the Toyota Hiace and the Nissan Caravan. We are planning to actually do a head-to-head with these three potential rivals, and then we're going to give you a lowdown on which one gives you best value for money. Now, the next person is Ian Brand, and he says, although I am late, I just commend the whole team that brings us this informative review. Thank you so much, Ian Bryan. We appreciate the fact that you take your time to watch CBBT, and we endeavor to give you the best local motoring content available. Now, the last person is called Mr. Ian Roman Reigns, and he says, how much is the BMW? Now, the BMW he's talking about is the next generation X3, which was actually featured as a preview on CBBT. Now, we don't have the current prices as yet, but I'm assuming it will be roughly about 90,000 euros or about 11 to 12 million Kenya shillings. But we're going to give you a lowdown much later as this model arrives in Kenya. So thank you so much for watching Cars with Big Boy Trev. If you have any questions, comments, or queries, don't hesitate to write to us as seen on the social media handles below. We'll get back to you with the feedback next week. Now it's time to buckle up, and of course, you're going to sample this brand new Haval Jolion crossover. Enjoy. Now, this is the key to Haval's mid-size crossover, introducing to you the Haval Jolion. And with prices starting from Kenya shillings 4.7 million, you reckon this is your next crossover? We start this particular review by taking a look at the design phase of this particular vehicle, and the first thing you notice is modernity. I can tell you the look on this Haval is just but amazing. I've been driving around Mombasa Road and people have been checking what car is this? This is the Haval, and I can tell you for a fact that Haval are not playing. They have invested so much money in terms of design and development, making this car very appealing on the eye. Look at this particular grille.
its trapezoid. It looks like Superman. Number S with the Haval. Instead of S is H. Of course, this chrome grille and stated grille gives this car some je ne sais quoi. And premiumness is the name of the game. You have these trapezoidal headlamps that are LEDs, and of course, you do have daytime running lights that run across like a cheetah face. Again, they've thought about every single thing, making sure the Haval Jolion has what it takes to be the class leader in terms of crossover. Because the lower lip as well do have some chrome excerpts again. It complements the piano black finish as well, and do have a clamshell bonnet that actually has some bold designs, giving this car that bold look that you look for in an SUV. Of course, you have this windscreen that is rigged to improve aero efficiency, and it passes through the wind like hot knife through butter. But the question is, how good is the side? Let's move to the side and have a look at the Jolion Haval design language. So we move to the side profile again. The design language has been enhanced by subtle lines. So you have this main ridge line that runs across the hip line all the way to the back, giving this car some presence. Now, the tires. You do have some 18-inch tires. These are Hankook Solars, and of course, the diamond cut design that makes this car have a very visual and very appealing look to anybody who loves a proper, lovely-looking crossover. Again, we come to the passenger compact area, and you can see plenty of chrome has been used to give this car a premium look and feel. Look at the top window sill surrounding the windows all the way back. Again, je ne sais quoi. Look at the lower part again. You have the letters Haval emblazoned on that strip, that chrome strip again, giving this car some je ne sais quoi. Side repeater lamps are here as well to show that anybody who's turning, they can see that you're turning. And of course, you do have cameras that gives you a 360-degree camera. So you have two on the front mirrors, one at the back, one at the front, and of course gives you that visual appeal when you're trying to park the car. So ladies, if you're looking for a car that makes it easy to park, then this could be your next vehicle. I love the fact that there are plenty of colors, from opal white, and then you do have this blue and red and black. So there are plenty of colors to choose from. As we move towards the rear third of the vehicle as well, this is where you can see the merging of the design corresponding all the way to the back as well. And the hip line as well runs across and merges together with this particular right tail lamp, as we'll discuss. Again, the way they've designed it is to ensure that this particular vehicle is very fuel efficient and of course has the bold lines to give it character that everybody's looking for. As we move to the back, one of the things that I do notice is the fact that you do have this infused rear diffuser, again giving us some je ne sais quoi. It's got a third stop braking light, so if you're braking, anybody can see you quite easily. And of course, you have this lanted rear glass as well, giving this car some aero efficiency. You have the letters Haval emblazoned on the rear tailgate, and of course, you've got this C-clamp design LEDs, which at night looks very, very good. Of course, you do have also the letters Jolion, which is the model brand, and of course, at the lower back, you do have this color-coded bumper, and of course, it's contrasting with this black finish that you also find on the front lip, and some chrome to tell everybody who's actually driving behind it that this car means business. But it's time for us to see whether the design elements correspond with the interior. Let's jump in and have a look at the interior of this Haval Jolion. Now, you've seen from the design perspective the quality and the design of the Haval Jolion. Stylish, modern, and of course illustrates China's power to literally take over the design world in terms of vehicle design. Now we step inside this particular cabin. The first thing you notice is the way the layout has been designed. So this particular dashboard has that forward cap design, basically meaning that the dashboard has been placed further away to create an illusion of space. And I like the way they've designed the dashboard. It's a two-step design. So on top you do have some carbon fiber design, and of course right here you do have some veneer finish with some stitching which is contrasting, and you have this strip, this chrome strip, that gives this car what? Thank you very much. And of course the highlight of this particular dashboard is this massive 12.3 multi-information system that houses quite a number of things, including air conditioning, which comes as standard in this particular vehicle. It's dual zone, so basically the driver and passenger can actually control the amount of temperature or air getting into the cabin on both sides, and of course feel very flexible. And obviously at the back as well do have also a few settings here so that even the rear passengers can enjoy being in this pleasant cabin of this particular Haval Jolion. Now, music. I love music, and you know that, so I'm going to press this and just give you the sound quality of this particular vehicle. So that sound is courtesy of JBL, which is a renowned audio maker that actually gives this car 8 speakers, full surround sound with a subwoofer that's placed right underneath this particular dashboard to give this car some oomph. So if you love music, apart from listening to radio, you can actually stream your music via Spotify, because this particular vehicle has an app store that is readily available. You can download it and be able to stream your music. You can also listen to music via your phone via Bluetooth and of course USB. Not forgetting that this particular system can also handle Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So basically the whole ecosystem can actually be used and mirrored on this particular facility, and of course voice control to ensure that you remain safe while driving on this particular Haval Jolion crossover. Now let's move to the lower part of this particular step. We do have physical buttons for the AC and of course recirculating, defrosting and many other buttons, but it's simple but well designed. I love the fact that they've tried to use some interesting texture on the lower part of the dashboard with contrast stitching, giving this car some je ne sais quoi. I'm telling you, even the established brands like Hyundai, like Ford, like Toyota, like Nissan really need to take care, because the Chinese are coming and there's no stopping them. I've been knowing we do have 2 vents as well, 2 on the lower part, 2 on the extremities of the dashboard, so that the cabin is well ventilated. Because we come now to the most important part, which is the gearbox console. So it's stretched all the way from the dashboard, and of course you do have wireless charging as standard in this particular vehicle. So you have a rotary switch that you've probably seen on Jaguar Land Rover, and I can tell you it is very easy to use. So you just rotate this particular dial from park, reverse, neutral, drive and manual. And of course you do have paddle shifters that comes as standard if you select manual mode, which is very good. I love the fact that they've thought about every single thing about making this car very, very sporty. We're going to find out much later. So you do have some slots here. You have a card slot, you have a key slot over here. And of course, adjacent to it is the park brake and auto hold. Now, auto hold is very important in traffic because you don't need to step on the brake all the time. The moment the vehicle senses that it is stationary, it applies the brakes automatically and you're able to relax your feet. And of course, when you step on the gas, it'll just move and disengage the handbrake, which is very good. I mean, it's very modern. It's a thoughtful touch. And obviously, between the 2 vents, you do have a hazard sign, just in case you get into emergency. You do have also some cup holders. It's a unique design. It's asymmetrical. So if you have a small cup, you can fit here a cup of coffee. Or if you have a mug or a big bottle, it will also fit quite well. Now, the center console as well, contrast stitching, complementing the seats as well. Now, let's move to the instrument binnacle. Now, instrument binnacle has also a very high definition 8.3-inch multicolor display that actually allows you to toggle through the important settings of the car, and it will tell you what the car is doing at any given time. So for example, on the left hand side you have the temperature gauge, on the right hand side you have the fuel gauge. So it actually measures the amount required and tells you how much fuel you have or if the engine temperature is correct. And of course in between there's a circular design. So on the left is the RPM or revolutions per minute, tells you the speed of the engine. On the right hand side is the kilometers, the speed of the car as you traverse the beautiful country of Kenya. It will tell you tire pressure because this car has tire pressure monitoring sensors across, and of course it will tell you the drive mode. If you're normal, sport or comfort, it will tell you and of course alert you. Now the steering wheel as well, 3-spoke design, leather cladded with contrast stitching over here. You do have on the left hand side all the aspects to control everything of the multimedia infotainment system. So you can pick up your call, you can cancel it, you can change channels or the source of music. On the right hand side, everything to do with the automatic advanced cruise control with autonomous emergency braking, which has a sensor right here and a camera, so you're able to control that right here. Paddle shifters, very important if you're doing manual transmission, if you're driving on sports mode. And of course you do have start stop as standard. I love the fact that this particular vehicle has 6-way design. What do I mean by that? 6-way design is basically you have the seats, you can adjust them height, reach, and of course also the steering wheel is also telescopic. You can adjust it to your taste and preference, so that if you're a short man, you're able to drive easily. If you're tall and big like myself, you'll be able to fit quite comfortably in this Jolion. Now, how does the back seat correspond with the front? Let's move to the back and have a look at the seating space of the Haval Jolion. So we move to the back seat, and the first thing you notice is the amount of space. It's too much. It feels like a business class jet. The headroom is fantastic. The headroom is good despite it having a sunroof. Now, the name of the game is practicality, and this particular SUV, the Haval Jolion, actually gives you more than satisfaction in terms of comfort. You can actually sit 3 adults comfortably on the rear seats because there's no hump here. And of course, the leg room is fantastic. But if you're only sitting 2 people, then you can retract this armrest to reveal 2 cup holders and an armrest that ensures that you enjoy this particular vehicle quite easily as you traverse the beautiful country of Kenya. Now, the seats also are well sculpted to ensure that the lumbar support is fantastic. So it's very good for long distance. If you're driving to Mombasa or Kisumu or Nyeri for that matter, you're able to enjoy the comfort of the Haval Jolion. You do also have 3-point safety belts on all the 3 seats. You have headrests to prevent whiplash. And of course, ISOFIX anchors in case you have a child. You can actually fix the child seat comfortably to the right position to ensure that the baby is well protected in case of a rollover. Now, in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on curtain airbags that run across from the front to the back on both ends to prevent head and thorax injuries while in the Haval Jolion. So a 5-star safety rating. And of course, you know that everybody wants a car that will protect their family from harm's way. Now, in terms of climate control, it's standard here. You have 2 vents here. You can control them quite easily. Airlines and pockets to hide your iPad or your valuables quite easily. So it's a very practical and roomy space. Even the door bins actually do have very big cup holders or bottle holders to ensure that you are actually very practical and everybody enjoys the space in the Haval Jolion. I step first to move to the boot space and see how much cargo it can carry, courtesy of cars with Big Boy Trev. Now, moving over to the back side, I can tell you for a fact, if you touch this soft opening, it reveals plenty of space. 400 liters to be precise. Those are around 4 suitcases or 4 gunias if you're a Kenyan. So if you want to carry potatoes, whatever it is that you need to carry shopping, you're able to do it quite easily in the Haval Jolion. You have a parcel shelf to prevent prying eyes from seeing inside. And of course, you have tie-down hooks to actually secure your luggage so that it doesn't move around. And of course, every lower you do have a lower parcel shelf that actually houses the full-size spare wheel. And of course, you do have your necessary items, your hazard, your triangle, and of course, your jack and extinguisher if you're in Kenya. So plenty of space. You also have a 12-volt socket and a light just to indicate and show you what's happening at the boot as you try and unload and remove. The boot lip also has a scuff plate here as well, so it makes it easier for you to remove cargo quite easily in and out. But it's time for us to feel the power of this 1.5 liter turbo petrol 7-speed DCT dual clutch transmission, and of course give you value for money as to why this could be your next SUV. Let's go. So guys, you've seen from the walk around the design perspective of this particular Haval Jolion. It looks very stylish, it's very practical, and of course has plenty of bells and whistles. But now it's time for us to feel the power of this particular vehicle. Can it beat the likes of the Hyundai Tucson on our Kenyan roads? We start this particular review by taking a look at the performance. So up front, we do have a 1.5 liter turbo petrol 4-cylinder with direct injection that produces 105 kilowatts and 210 newton meters. Remember, this engine is turbocharged. Now, that power, when you put your foot down, gives you very good acceleration. As you can hear, very peppy. Now, power is sent to the front wheels courtesy of a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which when you put your foot down, allows you to explore the full potential of that 1.5 liter turbo engine, and of course helps you return a fuel economy figure of roughly 5 liters per 100 kilometers. It's very efficient, yet gives you good power. It's a perfect marriage between performance and economy. So anybody who's driving in the city, you don't need to worry about huge fuel bills because this Jolion is very fuel efficient. This particular vehicle is built on the Haval chassis, which is also found on the H6, which you did on cars with Big Boy Trev. And of course, this chassis is modular, meaning it can be lengthened and shortened depending on taste and preference. So the goodness of having a modular chassis is the fact that, number one, you are able to have the same characteristics of the monocoque chassis. And of course, safety. Safety is very important. The suspension plays a big role in it. Up front, you have McPherson struts, and at the back, you do have a multi-link setup, which actually allows you, number one, to have very good wheel contact, and number two, maximum comfort for passengers. So as you can see, the roads are not that good because of the rains. However, the Jolion takes it with a stride. It absorbs all the road imperfections quite easily, making the ride in the Jolion equally very, very peaceful. One thing I like about the Jolion as well, it's very quiet. So the engineers have actually added sound deadening material to reduce noise, vibration, and harshness, allowing the cabin to be very quiet even in such situations. So they've actually padded the floor tunnel and the firewall to ensure that no sound gets into the cabin. Now let's talk about safety. It's a critical component in this particular segment. So this Jolion actually has a mixture of active and passive safety features to ensure that when you're driving this car, you're safe in the family. Now, the active features prevent you from having an accident. So you have a repertoire of so many features, starting from the umbrella ESP, which is the stability program and controls, anti-lock braking system, which basically prevents wheel locking during an emergency. You do have traction control, electronic brake force distribution, and of course you have the second layer of tech, including adaptive cruise control with emergency autonomous braking. So if you do not apply brakes, the stereo camera actually measures the distance between the car in front of you and slows down the vehicle accordingly to a complete stop. You do also have blind spot assist standard. You do have also lane keep assist and lane center assist to ensure that when you're driving in this particular Jolion, you are safe in any point. But in case all hell breaks loose, then you can rely on the 6 airbags that comes as standard in this particular vehicle. A 5-star passenger safety rated cell to prevent injury, dissipate impact energy away from the chassis so that you remain safe while on the road. So it's a vehicle that actually has a lot of value when it comes to safety, and that is what Kenyans are looking for. Value for money, safety of my family. That's key when you're choosing the right crossover for your vehicle. The ground clearance is about 177 millimeters, which is not bad, and actually can do a little bit of off-roading. The 18-inch tires also help in terms of raising the car slightly up. Because we live in the tropics, we have something called the rough road package. They equip the suspension for rougher roads like here in Kenya or sub-Saharan Africa. So they've thought about every single thing when they were actually designing this particular Jolion. So it feels good. Good power, the DCT is fantastic, but the biggest question still remains value for money. Does it make sense for you? Let's go and do value for money. Now that has been the review of the Haval Jolion. Stylish, capable, practical, and very fuel efficient. But the biggest question still remains, will this be your next SUV? We start with something called value for money. And of course, we start with the pricing. Now, this particular vehicle is sold and serviced by Crown Motors Limited, and of course, comes at a price of 4.7 million VAT inclusive. This particular model is a demo unit. You can get it for 4.7. Of course, it comes with a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Plus, you can rely on Crown Motors' extensive network across the country. From Mombasa to Kisumu to Eldoret, you are able to maintain this Haval Jolion quite easily. But we know that this particular vehicle exists in a space where there's so much competition. Who are the key rivals in this particular segment? We start with the Hyundai Tucson. Of course, Toyota have the Urban Cruiser and many others that are in this particular category. Do you reckon then that based on this review, you'd pick this particular Haval Jolion? Send us your thoughts as seen on the social media notes below. We'll get back to you with the feedback next week. Well, thank you so much for joining Kazi Big Boy Trev on behalf of the team, Magical Pictures. Until next week, drive safe.
You can